Whoa, whoa, whoa. FRQ analysis for Unit 5. Number 1. Preserving high-quality agricultural land is important so that countries can grow enough food to feed their populations. A. Describe one agricultural practice that can lead to the degradation of agricultural land. This is worth 2 points. And B. Describe a potential solution or technique that can prevent or reduce degradation of agricultural land. Let's take a look at some of the answers to part A. Again, is to describe one agricultural practice that leads to the degradation of land. The example that I picked from students' responses would be using monocultures or monocropping, and that will eventually deplete the soil of nutrients. The second one that I picked was the overgrazing by livestock leads to the loss of soil cover and increases soil erosion. So let's take a look at some of these students' examples. Example number 1. Overgrazing can lead to the degradation of agricultural land. So if this was just identify instead of describe, I would have accepted this answer for full points. But the student simply identified. Again, the keywords are very, very crucial. And if you guys are still having problems, I made a video over the keywords in AP Tip of the Week number 2. So you guys can check it out there. Example number 2. One agricultural practice that can lead to the degradation of agricultural land is monocropping, which is the practice of cultivating one type of crop on the same portion of land each year without rotation between other crops. This practice erodes the soil and depletes it of nutrients so that synthetic fertilizers must be more heavily used, as well as pesticides and herbicides, which can contain harmful chemicals that degrade agricultural land over time. So the student described monocropping and also describe how it is degrading agricultural land. So again, the description that we see is the practice of cultivating one type of crop on the same portion of land each year without, and then it causes the land to erode the soil and deplete the soil of nutrients. So those are the points. Those are the parts that gave the student the points. Okay. Again, remember, if there's anything you guys take away from this video, please remember to describe, needs, details. So let's take a look at some of the solutions to part B. It again asks to describe a potential solution or technique that can prevent or reduce degradation of agricultural land. So the solution I'm focusing in on would be crop rotation. So it uses a series of different types of crops in the same area over seasons to prevent a loss of soil nutrients or to increase soil fertility and decrease erosion. So let's take a look at some good examples and not so good examples. Example number 1. One potential solution that could prevent the degradation of agricultural land is to practice crop rotation, so complete deforestation will not happen. This is a good answer, y'all, in a sense that I understood what the student was trying to say, but the student did not include details. Let's highlight those parts. So the student mentioned crop rotation as a solution, which is good, but the student did not give details on what crop rotations is or what's the process of crop rotations. Second, the student did say how it benefits the land and deforestation will not happen, but did not describe how that works. I understood what the student was saying. The student was trying to communicate that with crop rotation, the soil retains its nutrients and therefore no more land is required, so there is no need to cut down more trees to produce or use more farmland. But notice the details that I gave there. That detail was not on the paper. I understood what the student was saying, but that detail needs to be on your free response answer. So deforestation will not happen is the benefit, but need to describe that benefit. Example number 2. One technique that can prevent degradation is crop rotation. This uses different crops on the same soil so that not one single crop takes up all the nutrients in the soil. So this is a good complete answer. It gives descriptions of how it prevents degradation, and it also describes what crop rotation is. Number 2. A less developed country with a rapidly expanding urban population is concerned that its growing urban population will eventually expand to a level where there would not be enough land to grow the food it needs to support its population. A. Excluding importing food, propose a solution to address the concerns of reduced land on which to grow food. B. For your solution in part A, explain an additional potential advantage of the solution. So here's a list of solutions for part A. We're going to concentrate on the plant rooftop gardens in urban areas and the build up, not out in urban areas, or the require high density building in urban areas. Example number 1. One solution to address the concerns of reduced land on which to grow food is rooftop farming. Rooftop farming is using the tops of buildings to cultivate different types of crops. Because rooftop farming allows you to repurpose the roofs of established buildings, there's no necessity for extensive amounts of arable land, allowing an ever-growing population to sustain their food necessities. So this is a good complete answer, but one thing I want to point out is just to try to avoid these pronouns, use, I's, etc. We can write FRQ solutions or answers without using these personal pronouns, I's and you's, or we's, or all that other example. Example number 2. A solution to address the concerns of reduced land would be to have the urban population in a small area. This way you could have the rest of the land for agricultural needs and to grow food. So with this answer, it proposed a very general plan. Again, urban population in a small area. Specifically, we could have said to build housing up and not out. That I understood what the student was trying to say here, but again, we need to use very specific descriptions and definitions, y'all. This could mean many things in a small area. So again, provide details for the AP readers. So part B links to part A, and we're going to be looking at the possible solutions to part B, additional benefits for the solution. And again, we are going to concentrate on this area here. Plant rooftop gardens in urban areas, and there can maintain, preserve remaining habitat for biodiversity, can insulate buildings, can offset heat island effect, provide green space for urban dwellers, can grow crops on existing buildings, so no additional land is required, can produce food, human consumption, etc. And then solutions for the build up, not out, is to preserve remaining habitat for biodiversity, and then can lower ecological footprint because of the reduced transportation. So example number 1. An additional potential advantage of the solution is the increase in thermal performance, which can decrease energy costs. Because plants absorb the sun's energy, they are able to reduce the temperature of the roof, which in turn decreases the need for air conditioning to cool the building down. Likewise, during colder seasons, the green roof aids in thermal efficiency by trapping heat inside the building and reducing the need for heating. So this one is very, very close to the insulation of the buildings. We give perfect points. There's plenty of explanation here, the process, etc. This is a very, 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 very good answer. Example number 2. Another potential advantage would be that all the urban area is in one area, so everything that they would need would be in close proximity. This would make it easier to get from place to place and to get their jobs done. So, and the benefit would be from the environmental point of view. So we can preserve habitat for biodiversity or lower ecological footprint of individuals because of reduced transportation and other reasons. The student did a good job in the sense that the student tried to convey the last point here, but used different words. Close proximity, easier to get from place to place, but the student did not mention lower emissions or lower ecological footprint. So this is where it comes into play to know your definitions, y'all, the vocab words, and what is a solution, what is a problem in environmental science. Again, I understood what the student was trying to say in the sentence and the answer itself, but if it's not on the paper or on the computer, when you guys submit it, it cannot go through the award process. Remember, you have to assume that the AP reader doesn't understand anything about AP environmental science. So you have to provide as much detail as possible under explain, describe, propose a solution. The only one you don't have to provide immense details would be identify. That's the easiest thing. You simply identify, you name that one idea, you're done. You don't need to describe it. But again, describe, explain, propose a solution, any of those guys, you need to provide details. And I'm going to write right here, details. Again, any terms you guys use, you must define those terms. Okay, that's the end of the FRQ analysis. Keep up the good work, y'all. From grading the recent FRQs and comparing it to the first FRQ you guys did when we started this online review session, you guys definitely improved, y'all. You have definitely learned from your mistakes and are providing appropriate answers. So again, remember, anything that's not identify, you must provide details. Okay, y'all, have a good one.